Chainsaw Man begins with the main character named Denji and his dog that has a chainsaw sticking on top of his head, waking up early in the morning to prepare for work. On his way to his job location, we hear an important conversation that happens between Denji and his dog Pochita. Denji tells Pochita that he sold his kidney for 1.2 million and his right eye for 300,000 and one of his nuts for not even 100,000. And he still owes 38 million yen. So he arrives at the job location and says that devil hunting pays the most out of all other jobs. After killing the tomato devil, Denji manager told him that he earned 400,000 yen, but after tax and admin fees, he only takes home 70,000 yen. But once Denji paid the water bill and the light bill for his house, he only kept 1,800 yen left. The cost of living in this place is absolutely absurd on different levels. This shows a huge inflammation problem that has went through the roof in this country. You will probably have more homeless people than middle class and the rich. But next, we see the manager and associate in the car discussing about Denji's work ethic and why keep him around. And the manager simply says, Denji does what he's told. Later, Denji has a flashback about how all this started. When Denji was a little boy, his father committed suicide without paying his debt. So the manager told Denji he has to find a way to pay him back, or he will cut Denji up and sell him for money. After the manager drove off, Pochita walked from behind the tree and fell on its side, gasping for air. Denji told Pochita that I know that the devils need blood to recover their health, so negotiates with the dog. If you drink Denji's blood, you have to help him like he helped Pochita. The next scene, the manager ends up hiring Denji instead of killing him. We head back to the present and we see Denji coughing up blood from a heart disease he currently has that's hereditary. Denji heads to his next mission on the job at a warehouse to gain more money to pay off his debt. But suddenly, he was ambushed by his own manager that turned into the zombie devil. The devil sent zombies to kill Denji and threw him into the trash. Another flashback occurs with Pochita and Denji, and we see Denji telling him that if he dies, he wants Pochita to take over his body and live a normal life. So Pochita remembered this moment and fused with the heart of Denji. Denji pops out the trash can moments later, and the zombie devil sent more enemies towards Denji, crowding him while he's on the ground. However, the attack didn't work this time because Denji transformed into the Chainsaw Man devil, fighting off the zombies. Towards the end, we see Denji jumps in the air and chainsaws the zombie devil, killing him by splitting him in half. Afterwards, we see 3 hitmen walk into the warehouse, watching Denji standing over the zombies while covered in blood. Denji's number one desire in life is to have a girlfriend and told the woman to hug him, and the woman with the pink hair hugged Chainsaw Man. She then gives him an ultimatum. Either she kills him today, or he comes with them and she provides housing, food, and etc. The next thing Denji says is what's for breakfast. Now let's begin episode 2, Arrival in Tokyo. At the beginning of this episode, the first thing we see is a yellow eye that has a red pupil looking directly at the camera. But it's not just an eye, it's Makima staring outside the car window. She seems like she's thinking about something. Denji and Makima started to have a conversation, and Makima tells Denji because she's taking care of him, he has to say yes or woof to answer her. And she goes on to say that she doesn't need a dog that says no, or she'll put them down. Bro, she is straight ruthless. This line right here shows you what type of woman she is. She's all about business, and that's it. And if anything gets in her way, she will not hesitate to take action. I'm glad I'm watching the anime because it shows you how dark she is by tone of voice and subtle facial expressions. She takes off her jacket and hands it to Denji, and they arrive at the food court because Denji is very hungry. Makima asks Denji how did he become a devil. Denji looks down and says his dog sacrificed his life for him, and gave him a second chance of life to achieve his dreams. Makima told him that his best friend is still alive inside of him because she has a good sense of smell. It's funny how she says that Denji and everybody else is dogs, but she's the one that have dog features like the high sense of smell. I just think that was funny. She can smell the difference between humans and devils. So the scenes we're watching right now is really about building rapport with one another as we watch Makima feed Denji noodles. Denji realizes he likes her a lot, even more because he had never had a woman to take care of him like his mother did. You can even see the genuineness in his facial expression when he says this comment. So we now enter the Devil Hunter headquarters as Makima explains that there are over 1,000 devil hunters in Tokyo and public safety is imperative to all the civilians. Now the whole time that she is talking, trying to explain how the headquarters works and how the business works, Denji doesn't even hear anything she is saying. The only thing he's thinking about is how he wants to date Makima. And just to let you know, I want you to understand something about Denji. He's not really obsessed with her. It seems like he is, but he's not. He's actually obsessed with female connection and the energy they bring because he never had it. So Denji meets his new partner, Aki Hayakawa. But Denji was shocked because he thought he was going to be working with Makima and got dragged to the door by his new partner. But Makima watched Denji have a temper tantrum on the floor as she looks at him with an emotionless facial expression that says something about her. She then walks up to Denji and kneels down and tells him if he does this job well, they can definitely work together. And she proceeds by tying his tie. So when Denji and Aki left, they enter a dark alley and Aki punched him in the face and says, "Leave tomorrow and don't come back," because he knows that the only reason why he's here is because of Makima. Denji gets up off the floor and runs straight to Aki and kicks him straight in the balls and told him he wants to get treated like a decent human. This is actually really funny. It's pretty cool. This also shows you the grit that Denji has, and he's not willing to back down from no fight. They immediately return back to headquarters and Makima reveals to Aki that Denji is a human that can transform into a devil. But if he leaves or run away, he will be disposed of like a devil. Bro, that is a cold line to start your first day at work. He's stuck in this organization no matter how he feels or think about it. That's crazy. So Denji started to live with Aki, eating peanut butter jelly sandwiches, taking a clean bath, and he can wash his clothes whenever he wants to. The next morning, Denji went on his first mission to dispatch a fiend. Once the two men entered the room, a devil with fangs on the side of his cheeks was trying to attack Denji, but Denji quickly defended himself, annihilating the fiend. But Aki was mad that he didn't turn into Chainsaw Man to eliminate the fiend, and left the building. Then Denji reveals that the only reason why he didn't turn into Chainsaw Man is because he didn't want to get blood on the nude magazines. This shows how much Denji lacks a woman in his life that he would go out his way just to save a nude magazine, and proceeded to look through it after Aki left. He then utters to himself, saying how much he wants to touch Makima boobs. Once they returned back to headquarters, Makima assigned Denji with his new partner named Power. She is a fiend as well, but still has control over her personality and mind. Next, we see Denji and Power on the top of the roof of their second mission, looking for the devil that's causing harm to the civilians. I really like Power because she has a bright personality that can compensate for a lot of dark and emotionless characters in the story. She seems less serious and more fun, exciting. Power spots the sea cucumber devil and jumped off the top of the roof, smashing it with the hammer built out of blood. Denji watches her on top of the roof like this girl is really crazy as she laughs insanely out of control. And episode 2 ends. On the sidewalk, we see that Makima had arrived to the crime scene to inform Denji and Power that their actions could have easily been obstructive of business because the cops had everything under control. Furthermore, Makima tells Denji to watch over Power. Although she is powerful and has a lot of strength, she is reckless in battle sometimes. Power pointed to Denji and blamed everything on him to avoid accountability. I'm sure everyone been in situations like that when they were younger or in trouble with their brothers and sisters or classmates, and we try to blame everything on the other person just because we don't want to get a whooping when we get home. Yeah. So Power and Denji goes to the store to get some beverages and snacks to refuel their energy. Power gets frustrated and talks about her missing cat she needs help to get back. So she begins to bargain with Denji, telling him that if you help her get her cat back, she'll let him touch her boobs. Denji immediately got so motivated that he was like, you know what, I need that cat back now. Denji's motivation to get the cat back immediately increased to top priority, no matter if the president of the United States was in jeopardy. The cat comes first just because he wanted to touch some boobs for the first time. That's funny. So the scene cuts to Power and Denji arriving at the house that the cat was last seen at. But suddenly, Power attacked Denji with her blood hammer on the head, knocking him unconscious. She dragged him in the house and talks to the Bat Devil about exchanging Denji for her cat. Pause the video. Power is so ruthless. She set him up just to exchange a human life for a cat that she fell in love with. Now that's crazy. The Bat Devil grabbed Denji and drank his blood, repairing his arm, and devoured Power and her cat as well. The Bat Devil disliked Denji's blood, so he flew into the city to obtain fresh new blood. But to be honest with you, when Denji woke up and saw Power on the other side, I really think that Denji was about to eliminate her because she set him up. But no! His desire just to touch her boobs was beyond expectation and extraordinary belief. That he was like, you know what, forget that. I'm just gonna go after the Bat Devil to get her back. Boobs are more important than the setup. While the Bat Devil was flying towards the city, he realizes that Denji is latched onto his lower leg, hindering his ability to fly properly. Denji transforms into the Chainsaw Man to fight off the Bat Devil, and this transformation just looks so raw and amazing. Denji and the Bat Devil started to go head to head with one another, crashing each other through buildings, throwing each other through cars, and slicing each other up. The animators that designed this fight did a damn good job. The Bat Devil charged up a massive blast and hit Denji through the building, injuring him. However, when the Bat Devil tried to eat a human, Denji resurrected from the rubble in psychotic fashion, slicing the Bat Devil up, ending it once and for all. This anime show is completely wild. Let's get right into it. We start off in Power's flashback watching her gnaw on a bear for survival. Throughout her journey being a fiend, the cat accompanied her throughout her bad and good situations. She then goes on to say that no lives matter, only cats. Bro, this episode really started off over 9,000.
Did you say his power level is? It's over 9,000! 9,000?!
They said forget all y'all social justice movements and throw them in the trash. Calm down, Fujimoto, the episode just started. She trips and falls, then looks at her hand, saying that she loves the taste of blood and how good it makes her feel. But she also said that today, she felt that blood is warm. So I think that this is implying that even though she's cold-hearted, her perception of human life is starting to change for the better. When she opens her eyes, she sees Denji holding her in her arms while crouching in the bowels of the Bat Devil. She asked him, why did you save her when she tried to kill him? If we all know Denji by now, he pointed to her boobs and squeezed his hand in and out, implying that he just wanted to save her just to touch a woman's breast for the first time. Listen, there was this guy that made a TikTok and said that Denji don't really want to touch boobs because he just desires it. Then he started to create some theoretical and mathematical ideas just to prove his false claims. Shut up, dummy dumber. He literally just said it. If I knew who he was, I would tag him in this video. She then says that this is a stupid reason to save her life, then agrees that he can touch her boobs. Denji jumped in the air with excitement, and seconds later, his arm got severed off. This was so unexpected. I was like, what the hell is going on? Then we see a worm with no eyes and long hair looking over Denji. The devils begin fighting each other, and it was pure amazingness. Also, the dope thing about this fight is that Denji cannot turn into Chainsaw Man because he lost a lot of blood. So it forces Denji to become extremely tactical to survive. Denji tries to annihilate the Leech Devil, but was pierced in his stomach, leaving him incapacitated. But suddenly, Aki came out of nowhere and used his specific hand signal to summon the Fox Devil and obliterates the Leech Devil. This scene was hella dope, man. I was like, oh yeah, bro, this is some wild stuff. I advise everyone to go watch the entire show, it's worth it. Next we see Denji lying in bed and Aki told him that he knows that Power tried to set him up, but Denji still tried to protect her for some reason. Aki then bargains with Denji saying that if he listened to his orders, he will not tell the superiors the truth about what happened. The next morning, Aki was making coffee and doing his morning routine around the house until we hear someone banging on the door. Aki and Denji was wondering who it was, but when the individual broke through the door and the door flew open, we realized it was just Power this whole time. That's one hell of an entrance. She don't care about nothing. Power reminds me of the Hispanic guy that was off of Next Friday where he was like, ain't no more locked doors.
Hey! Who locked the fucking door, huh? I don't like locked doors around here. They make me crazy and shit. I was locked up and said, pass the wire. Pass the wire. I don't want no grilled cheese. No, Leroy, I'm bilingual. There's a difference. No more locked doors. Gracias.
Makima calls Aki and tells him that she is going to be living with them for the time being. Later that night, Denji was cleaning the toilet because Power left boo-boo stains all over the edges. Power walks in the bathroom and tells him that he can finally touch her boobs. She closes the bathroom door and sits on the toilet saying he only get 3 rubs. Denji's facial expression was like all his dreams is really about to come true.